Alright guys, hello. This is George Barolton of Barolton today. And today we're going to take the politicalcompass.org test, that is, compass test. And that is the politicalcompass.org version of the test. Widely used, I think, it's kind of the standard bearer. It's the WWE of political test. It's really the go-to, the Swiss Army knife of test, really. I've seen other tests, not hold much water compared to this one, to say the less. Alright, so this test here, it's a political test, and I'm taking it just because, I feel like it's very important to, now there's no reason not to be into politics like before. If you were like, oh, I'm not interested, it doesn't affect me. Total BS now, right? Okay. It's just my 2 cents on that one right there. Bam. Alright, so today. Alright. First things first, and first question of this test here. It's a rough one. It's talking about globalization. This is a big word, globalization. If you ask me to spell that behind my back, I can do it. Economic globalization is inevitable. It should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. This is a rough one. No, it's not really, because it's like humanity on one side, transnational corporation. How can you pick against humanity? Come on. So yeah, I agree. I'd rather support my country rather it was right or wrong. I'll only support if it's right. But if it's wrong, I want to support it, making it better. So I feel like that's very important in the First Amendment. It's there for a reason, for a real reason. It's the purpose of it to protest, and the founding who are these people of the founding fathers? Did they go by that back then? Like, was that their nickname? The founding fathers? Are they like a boy band? I wonder if they like hung out with each other and they're just like, we're the founding fathers, and then they kind of like got off on that, It was like their rocks that they kicked, but when they didn't make the Constitution, it was free speech, free of protest, You gotta support those things, so. I think that's very American to support change when things are wrong. So I'd always support my country, right or wrong, whether it's right or wrong. Disagree, because I think I want to dissupport it when it's wrong. I don't want to change it. Stronger to disagree. No one chooses his or her country at birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I think it's okay to be somewhat proud of your country, but you didn't choose your country, so to be super, super over the top, it's a little bit of I'd say like a yellow flag, not a red flag, because it's like some people are okay, I guess, but it's like definitely caution to the wind, and it makes so I think it's foolish to be over the top. So let's see, no one chooses their country, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Disagree, or agree. The enemy of the enemy is my friend. Well, as they once said, fool me once, you can't have your ops, if you have an enemy, if they're enemies with someone else, most likely they're going to probably not be your friend too. And that's fool me once, shame on you. I'm just going to go with the ops are probably right about the enemy, but sometimes it's not fair to always demonize everyone just off the first cover by the book, So I'm going to disagree, because I think that's a true statement there. But there is sometimes it could be true. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Well, I could see how some countries might disagree on what international law is, because it's very throughout time it's been always whoever has power can probably like over the top saying on what international law is, so if you're not a country that has power at the time, I could see how you disagree with that. And so if military action in that case, I could see how they would usually disagree, but I feel like military action and offensive is always ill-justified, and aggression of war, I'm pretty sure that's, against international law. So I'm guessing I'm going to go with agree just on basis, but I could see how that's why I'm not putting strongly agree, because I feel like there could be some room for interpretation there, for sure. There's now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Okay, so this one is, I think this one's obvious guy. This is a strike down the middle, I think, answer. It's obvious with breaking news on every major news channel, just Twitter, just how news runs, what's entertaining, what gets trending. It's usually never stuff that's too, it's not like the stuff that's always important. It's very, I believe a lot of news is engineered to distract people to what's the real issue and what's at focus. And it's really like a reason why someone like Trump could win, just because was better at talking shit than everyone else. And he got so many headlines, and people were just so interested in being entertained. So I strongly agree. What the heck? Okay, next page. I don't know why it took me. What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna be mad. What the heck's going on? Getting trolled here. This is terrible news. Oh, I skipped one. Oh my gosh, okay, let's just rush through this real quick. So, okay. Alright, strongly agree. Agree. Okay, I skipped this question earlier. Our race has many superior qualities compared to other races. Disagree on that one, because I think we're all humans at first, and I feel like it's the most important issue I have. Race. It promotes an issue of what we see right now in America, is issues of people looking at people as other, and that just never turns out well. So I'm going to disagree and feel like we should be all just humans, and that's what we should go on forward as, and we should look at each other all with more empathy and try to put each other through each other's shoes and just understand each other and become a more peaceful people, just overall, and just not have hate, and hopefully one day we could move towards a better humanity. Alright, agree, strongly agree. Okay, cool. Next page. Alright, let's rush through this one. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. So, I feel like this one, class by nationality, I'm pretty, in my view, so I'm a business major, but I'm very interested. I've always been interested in political science, and I've taken some political science classes, taken some international relations classes, just watched a lot of Secular Talk, check him out, awesome guy, helped me develop a lot of viewpoints, I feel like, showed me a lot of information, and I like how he just is very it's not over the top, and like, he's just very opening and enlightening to, I feel, a young generation, and just very good person to watch for news and whatnot. The Hill is very good. What was the second? Majority Report, Michael Brooks show. Very good shows. But yeah, I feel like Twitter shows, like, I see the world as like the Marxist viewpoint kind of, or a realist kind of mix, where I see things as kind of class, where it's the controlling class is ultimately trying to divide people by things like nationality or race, and make these things what people not like each other for and distract each other for, while they continue to profit off of people's labor and just continue to exploit people and continue to perpetuate this system that I feel like makes things like race and stuff what divides people more. But I feel like this is the bigger issue, the class thing. So I think overall, ultimately, I'd agree. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. I think unemployment would be the better issue to control more than inflation, because when you have all your population working and having jobs, it's easier to improve the job. I may be wrong, and I'm open for open discalogue, no, dialogue, no, discussion, dialogue. There we go. That was a hard word to say. Wow. Um, but I feel like unemployment, just having people's jobs and improving those jobs, are easier than creating new jobs totally out of just from starting from zero or a lower number. And inflation would be, I think, something easier to get on track of than having your whole civilization or whole country unemployed. Strongly disagree. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Strongly agree. Corporations aren't, you see what Amazon did? They freaking, they'll name their arena Amazon or pledge climate change arena. But then what do they actually do for climate in the real world? That's right. I don't know. See, things like that, it's just like the pageantry and the fakeness of that. I feel like, or I don't know, that's not a very good example, but I feel like corporations take advantage of regulations, and they'll look for making any dollars, like BP and oil spills and things like that, where who knows the actual cost of what their decisions and what they do to people, and like oil, like on like help people's health and smog. They definitely don't care about the environment over their profits. So I definitely believe there needs to be a body of regulation that inhibits them from just doing whatever they want. Okay, for the next question. From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. Well, I feel like in a dystopian world that makes sense, where everything was on a equal playing field, but I feel people value things differently, and people's need, what people could produce, their ability could mean different to other people, and who knows if they could be prohibited from what they need and from living a fair life. So I think it's I'm gonna go with disagree, but I could see it either way, depending on how interpretation of the question, I guess. The freer the market, the freer the people. I'm gonna go disagree, because when the market's too free, I feel like the people are going to be controlled by who controls the market too much. But so there's a to everything there's a spectrum where there needs to be some balance, and there's things aren't just one way or the other. Things have to be things are always more complicated than that, or just there needs to be more than just a totally free market or totally not free market, for people to find the proper balance of what's right for the environment, the state of the economy, what's going on in the world, the age demographics. There's so many things that go into it, that just what people's education levels are, what people are qualified for. There's so many different things that go into that. But I feel like the free market does produce things, like it just naturally does produce people who need the skills, but there needs to be, just as we telling them, there just can't be totally laissez-faire. So I'm just going to disagree. Sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. I really strongly agree on that one, just because it's a branded consumer product. It's water. Flint, Michigan doesn't have clean water. It's how's that? People can't just turn on their sink and get water, but people have their favorite bottled water, and we're just focused on the wrong things, I think, and just overall the meanness of society is very it's I'm all in for people doing their hobbies and like things that they like, and that's all fair. It's all like human nature, I think. But something like where water and so we gotta reprioritize what we think is important and what we have time for and what we spend our money on, and we just gotta think of there's a better way to live. I think if we just took some time and think about that. So I'm gonna go strongly agree. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I'm gonna disagree because I feel like it's I don't know. You can't just take away people's land, but I feel like there should be more open, a fair. I feel like there should be a easier way for people to own property, more classes, different peoples in the world to, especially America, to be able to become this class of landowners and the owner class of American just move on up in society like that. I feel like it's not easy enough. So I feel like that is something that is a fair way to live is people could buy, but I feel like it just has to be like just through a lot of different systemic changes in the world, we could see this class or this system of owning property still be fine, I think. Whereas now it seems like it's a little impossible for me, say now as like a college student, or for many other people at my age, like to become a landowner. Seems impossible. Like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just doesn't seem very feasible. Or even like, why would I want to? Why would I ever want to spend that much money? I could be penny stocking all day, smoking weed. I don't need to be owning property. I don't know, maybe that'd be different, but who knows? Alright, is it regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society? Yeah, I think when people don't produce something for society, each person's different, but I feel like overall, if there's too many people that aren't producing anything for society, it creates a system where people are so individual and they don't think of the collective humans. Like everyone is like, they don't think of everyone connect. It doesn't connect the community, and they're not producing for anyone, for the people around them. I think that's something that's happening in America with like the gig economy and stuff. People are always servicing people instead of like producing something for the society of good. It's always like, oh, I'm gonna give you a ride somewhere, instead of like you're serving them, not actually contributing. Like I want to make something cool for a mural or something, something cool like that, or like tattoo art, something cool is for producing like something positive and actually making change, instead of everyone just doing something so basic and doesn't really mean anything for them. I think that's something I think though. So I'm gonna agree, but also I like, I like making money on penny stocks though sometimes. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I would strongly agree. COVID, we've seen why we needed some protectionism in America per se. We need to make some products in America that would have helped our supply chains, and antibiotics and different products like that would have definitely helped, I think, early on, especially in the COVID pandemic. So it's going to strongly agree. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to shareholders. Disagree. We talked some of that earlier about the protectionism, or not protectionism, but environment. I feel like, the only social responsibility should be, no. Yeah, I think this should also be to serve their workers, the community. Like, what's the point of living if it's only to make money for a select group? Not everyone's that select group, and it's like there's 330 million people in this country, 6-7 billion people in the world. What's the point of only so few people living when there's so many more and more and more people? It doesn't make any sense. But the rich are too highly taxed. Strongly disagree. Eat the rich. That's all I'll say for that one. Those with the ability to pay should have higher access to standards of medical care. I'm gonna agree, just because something like a nose job or certain things like commercial or superficial things maybe is fine for them having better care and whatnot. That's fair, I think. But overall, basic necessary things of life should be off the table. Everything should be taken care of through single payer health care. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. I'm gonna go with agree, because I think there's a lot of things that businesses could definitely mislead the public and it cause a public health crisis or things that end up getting people hurt, and that should definitely be punished. But also things that don't really matter, I feel like, or I mean, not say don't matter, but things that don't result in people getting hurt, or is someone getting like ripped off, maybe. As long as it's not ridiculous, like under a certain amount, you know, on Amazon, if you get ripped off, you get ripped off, I guess, you know. It's because I don't want people just to get, that'd be lead to a slippery slope, I feel like, on some things, but definitely things that like importance, like medical stuff, certain aspects that really like affect health and whatnot should definitely be punished. Okay, next question. A genuine free market requires restrictions of the ability of predatory. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predatory multinationals to create monopolies. I say agree, because strongly agree. Because in a genuine free market, if you want an actual free market that is able to operate freely and have competition of different producers of goods, you're going to want restrictions on companies on being able to buy up all the productions of every facet of the production, so they just control every serious aspect of it, and they just have over too much influence on the whole system, and it becomes too powerful, and no one else is able to compete, and closes. You see it now with Walmart, you know, closes out all the small businesses in town. Okay, let's go to the next question here. Abortion when the woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal. Strongly disagree. I'm a guy, so I don't really have an opinion on that. Or I shouldn't. It's not my say. Yeah. All authority should be questioned. Strongly agree. What's the point of having authority I'm more of a people person than the power person of the state. So I'm definitely going to go with people. An eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. I'm going to agree. I think there's some fairness to that. I think there's some like, I believe in fair punishment for crimes that are, if you like murder someone, you should get equal punishment instead of, or if you like steal something, you should just get a slap on the, you know, or it's stuff like that. Like, it's not, I don't want to see excessive punishments for crimes that aren't really serious or actual crime in my book. You know, non-criminal or non-harmful crimes is a different thing. You know, it requires a different punishment. All right, taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any threats of theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. I disagree. I feel it creates some sort of community, and overall would probably improve people's health, mental health, if you put art around people and just have things that are nice and it's actually something that the community wants, things that actually make sense. I feel like it would improve people's health and make people happier, and overall probably, I'm guessing it'd save money through people being less unhealthy, going outside, walking around, if they have nice parks. And if you have theaters and whatnot, people are going to go look at that, and it might create money through people going in, buying merch, and just all that kind of stuff. It also promotes artists, and I think it's overall good for the community. But if it cannot survive on a commercial basis, you know, I feel like it still promotes an overall good basis, as long as it's not over the top expensive, you know, something that's like $10 billion, you know, it's different. But something that's nice for the community, definitely, I think should be something that's invested in. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Compulsory? Compulsory. It sounds like a Pokemon. I want to say disagree. Wait, schools should not make. Yeah, strongly disagree. Or I want to go disagree because I don't know what strongly disagree implies. I feel like they shouldn't go to jail or something. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like they should definitely be encouraged to go to school, and every step to go to school, and everything should be available to them to go to school. But I don't know what strongly disagree would mean, so I'm just gonna go disagree because I don't want people to go to like parents to go to jail. But unless there's kids or parents are forcing them not to go to school, because I know some kids just skip school, I guess. But I feel if school is reformed to a place where they actually would want to go to school, it'd create an environment to encourage kids to go to school more anyways. Right. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own. Strongly disagree. And people actually know each other and get to know each other and learn about each other. And actually, because once we actually intermingle with people, I think everyone would realize the problems are all just things they've created in their head usually, and it's something that they're just totally hateful ideology. But if they actually knew each other, things probably be different, you know. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. I'm gonna disagree because I never got hit, and I couldn't imagine getting hit by my dad or mom or something. That'd be crazy. But I could see how different cultures is different things, and it's just so I'm not going to say strongly disagree because I just wasn't raised in that family, so I'm not sure, or a family that was like that, so I'm not sure how I would have dealt with that. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. I say agree because I definitely did. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. I should strongly agree because I'm high as hell right now. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. I say agree, but kind of I want to be like neutral on this one because I feel like school should also be there to teach kids how to do other things too, how to also be an adult, how to deal with people, how to just do every aspect, like how to just learn how to do every aspect of people to be more well-rounded human beings, be kind of like Renaissance people where you're just just so many different crafts and things that you do. It creates a better purpose of what it's mean to be a human, and just more general purpose of life. I feel like people with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Disagree. It's kind of fucked up, I feel like. If you said anything else. Most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Well, I feel like I have no discipline, so I'm going to disagree. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. I'm gonna go with agree. Or strongly agree. I feel like most things are just people misunderstanding people, and it's all usually propaganda that's made to make people seem like a other group that they could be an enemy, and kind of create a grouping of common to distract the people from what's going on domestically, or just to divert a certain problem from another. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. I say disagree because I feel that people are all people, and at the end of the day, we're only here to live so long. And what's the point of being mad at people? For any reason, really. I mean, unless they're like just being an asshole or something, I guess. When you are in trouble, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. I agree, but disagree too, actually. Because I feel like you should actually get on top of the trouble thing, and usually it'll lead you to more cheerful things for a longer time, and more natural, cheerful things where you're not just putting off something else. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. Strongly disagree, because I just don't see how you're gonna make a blanket statement on whole every first class or first generation immigrants. It's not fair. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. Definitely disagree. Because how does that light us now with all these corporations as successful as they are? I feel like we're getting worse off the more successful they are here. Amazon, Walmart, just all these companies are bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And where are we doing? Worse and worse and worse. All right. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I say disagree because I feel it's important to no broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I say disagree because I think it's important to just how we've seen now with monopolies and different aspects of news sites and like just how there's a consolidation of how many different news websites there are. I feel there should be a propagation of even to fund independent news, just so there's a different source than just CNN. And people are always so mad about fake news, but if there's more news, I feel it's going to create better news. I feel like it would create better news, more independent news. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed by the name of counterterrorism. Strongly agree. Patriot Act, come on now. Significant advantage of one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments and delay of progress in democratic political system. I agree with that, I guess. If one party, like China, the Communist Party, I know there's like inner fights and whatnot too, but if there's like a concisive unit that's all on the same page, you're going to be able to put through whatever they want to put through and have a pretty, concise and clear agenda. All right, next question. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. Once again, Patriot Act. You could search, the other couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, Congress passed, Senate passed a bill to be able to look at our search history without a warrant. Come on. Death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Strongly agree. If used at all, I feel like it shouldn't even be used. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. I disagree because it creates a caste system. I feel like when there's people to be above and below, but I feel like there also should be. I don't know. I just can't see how there just be no government or anarchy. Maybe decentralized one day. Maybe we could do that, where we just do like a decentralized government or something all around the world. That'd be pretty cool. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. I strongly disagree. It's like, if you can't, just because I feel the most people that say this is like the most religious people, and it's like, oh, since you can't see it, you can't believe it. It's like, how are you going to say that? Are you going to be so strong? You're gonna stand so hard for like God, but then abstract art, it's like, just because you don't like it, it doesn't mean anything to you. I don't see it. It's just, I don't know. I think that's like a good analogical or analogous reference there. Criminal justice punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Strongly disagree. Rehabilitation should be the most important thing. Why punish people for? Why continues to punish people if you're not going to let them get better? What's the point of? Why don't you just have the death penalty for everyone then? If you're just going to punish them for everything and not actually rehabilitate people, it's like, come on, it sucks. It's a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. I'm just gonna say disagree for this, because I think you should try with everyone and then gauge on what that is and then go from there. But it's not, you can't just right off the rip say, no, fuck that for some people. I feel like it just creates a slippery slope, and it creates a system where if you have it in writing for some people aren't able to get these rights, it just creates it on paper. that it can be expanded to do for others. So I feel like just through how we know how jaded the world is and what it actually how it works, I feel like it's no. I can't say that. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Disagree. Strongly disagree. Well, I mean, I'm going to say disagree because there's things to everything because there's I don't know, it's not I'm going to say strongly disagree because I feel like everyone's important in the world. I don't know business because there's like assholes, but there's important people too that are actually creative and actually do good and do cool things. But I feel like even people that do that in that industry are kind of like artists or pretty creative or like pretty in that general field. They're like they'd be the artistic person in the business world. So maybe there's I'll go with agree just because I feel like I see that more actually now that I say that. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be house or homemakers. Strongly disagree. It's not fair to make women just generally say that. Come on, you guys. I want to be I wouldn't mind being a house dad. It's like I think everything should just be discussed with family, and each case is different. All right, let's see the next question. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Definitely strongly agree. I don't see how you could not strongly agree. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Strongly disagree. Fuck the establishment. Astrology accurately explains many things. Disagree. But I feel like I'm into it too, though. So don't take that too strongly. But I don't look at it like that, though. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. I feel some of the most moral people are not religious. Just being honest. Just being honest. Like me. Just kidding. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the generally disadvantaged. Strongly disagree because, if charity was a better Social Security, wouldn't there be we have better progress, on some of these things? There's a lot of money out there. Some people are naturally unlucky. I agree because some people I feel like are naturally unlucky, but I feel everyone has to keep striving with, even if their cards are shitty. You just got to keep pushing because it's all you could do. But I feel definitely some people are born more unlucky just because of a certain situation that they're born in. Is it important that my child's school instills religious values? Strongly disagree. Separation of church and state, come on. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. Come on, 2020. Same-sex couple in stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Strongly disagree. Stable, loving relationship. Why excluded? Kids need families. Come on. Pornography, sipping, consenting adults should be legal for adult population. Strongly agree. Consenting adult. It's like, come on. Adults are, people should be able to do what they want to do as long as it's reasonable and it's not hurting anyone else. It's producing something that they enjoy. Come on. What goes on in the private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Strongly agree. Once again, why would the state care what's going on in the bedroom? Consenting adults. Come on. No one can be naturally homosexual. Strongly disagree. Come on. These days, openness about sex has gone too far, No, just can strongly disagree. All right, let's see where I lie. All right, about the political compass. In the introduction, okay, let me read this little synopsis, I guess, about the political compass I just took. In the introduction, we explain the inadequacies of the traditional left-right line. If we recognize that this is essentially an economic line, it's fine. As far as it goes, we could show, for example, Stalin, Mao, Zedong, and Pol Pot with their commitment to a totally controlled economy and the hard left. Socialists like Gandhi and Mugabe would occupy a less extreme leftist position. Thatcher would be someone on the right, but further it would still be someone, the ultimate free marketer, Pinochet. Okay, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I don't really care. Alright, let's see. Alright, economic, let's see. Negative 6.8 or 38. Okay, that's pretty far left. Then social, libertarian, authoritarian. Pretty libertarian. Okay, I'm pretty let's open this right here. It's pretty left, I guess, huh? I thought maybe I'd be more down libertarian way than up here, or even towards the middle. It's still pretty down, like, you know, almost like halfway down this libertarian way. So that's pretty decent, I guess. Does it compare me to anyone else? Does it show me what other people scored? Okay, way up here. Okay, Gandhi's up here. So I'm closest to Gandhi. Pretty close. I'd say a little bit more left. Wait, maybe pretty. Actually, you know, he may be more left than I am, but I'm more libertarian, and he's closer down the middle to the. But pretty close overall, actually. So that's pretty interesting. Does it say anything about this here? Well, that's pretty interesting, actually. I'd say I'm pretty happy with that, actually. I thought maybe, like I said, I'd be more libertarian, or down left, or down, you know, down this area here. But overall, pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with it. Can't lie. Well, that was the first George Barolton show. Just a little something, you know, I did here. All right. Thank you.